Perfect. So we're live. Hello, everyone who's already here. I think people are still joining. So definitely welcome. Hope you're having a good day this Thursday. And today's topic, this webinar, will be AI and product feeds and how this dynamically changing market field basically evolves and how we can optimize for it to improve our sales. My name is Radim. I'm from Mergado, which is a feed optimization company based in Czech Republic. And I'm joined by Nicola. Hello, Nicola from Smartsupp, the CMO, I believe. And we'll still have a few seconds before we start. So I'll just mention that Nicola will be starting his presentation. After that will be me following up. And then we'll finish with a Q&A where you'll be able to ask any question that you have regarding chatbots, shopping assistants, general AI, product feeds, and anything that might interest you. I think we are ready to start. Nicola, stage is yours, and good luck.
Simon just asked, can we make a transcription so we can read it later? I think the webinar will be recorded, right? I'm not sure about the transcriptions, though.
Yes. Thanks for the question. Yeah, it's recorded, so we'll share the recording after the webinar.
Yeah, and interestingly, I just found out, Radim, that you need to upload your presentation again because the system only accepts one, which is pretty weird. Regardless, hi everyone, my name is Nicola, and I'm a CMO at Smartsupp. At Smartsupp, we build customer engagement solutions for mainly e-shops, basically, which means that we do live chatbots, multi-channel solutions that allow your customers to actually build positive relationships with their customers, so you can sell more and have a better business, of course. Today's topic is definitely, when we spoke with Radim, there's a big connection now with product feeds from e-commerce and AI. At Smartsupp, we do provide an AI shopping assistant, of which I will speak a bit more later. But here I just want to emphasize that indeed there's a big importance of product feeds and what it actually means to have optimized product feed for AI and then AI first world. Knowing about AI and how it's growing and how the technology works, I think optimizing your website in general, including product feed, is definitely just a recipe for success. Because as we see, there's so many AI use cases out there that is definitely going to be pretty much crucial to succeed in AI, is basically to have good data. And where this comes from, I will try to explain you. So basically, to explain this, we'll have to take a broader approach a bit and speak about AI in general first. But I hope by the end it will be clear why data is super important and how it plays a role. And of course, we'll give you an example through our own AI shopping assistant. So first, AI, of course, is a huge term these days, but ultimately it's a technology that comprises of several different subcategories, having machine learning, neural networks, and now recently LLMs. As you can see from this simple diagram, the AI is a big field that comprises a lot of different subfields. The most recently large language models are AI themselves, but they're part of deep neural networks, which is different from machine learning, but never mind. They all have one thing in common, and that's basically that they need data to work. So on the left side here, you see traditional machine learning models, and the right side are foundational models. What was a big kind of improvement in this technology is that we see now is that to teach AI to work, now they consume different types of data. Traditional machine learning algorithms basically use heavily structured data to learn a specific task, to write, to repeat, to recognize something, to transcribe a video. They need really specific data that will actually say, hey, this is what you can expect, learn on this data. On the other hand, now these foundational models are pretty much more powerful in terms that they can kind of process and ingest different kinds of data at the same time that they are irrelevant of the task that needs to be complete. And this data can be textual, visual, multimedial, and so on and so on. And interestingly, and why is this so powerful technology now, is that these large language models now can indeed take different kinds of data, but for different kinds of tasks with minimal supervision. This definitely opened a lot of different areas, and really interesting now to see how this whole technology is booming and we are in the middle of it. Also, this switch from unstructured and structured data is really important for AI and for businesses now, simply because there's arguably a whole lot of unstructured data out there, but there's a little structured data there. And to have AI learn better and to be more precise, structured data is way better, but of course it requires some processing. For example, this webinar is a unstructured data. It's just a video file that will be somewhere on the internet. While we can structurize it by creating this transcription, where I say something, Radim says something, and then this textual content is more put in a structure, something basically that we can add to a database and that can be used throughout the database. So structured data is definitely more valuable for AI, especially for those machine learning algorithms, because they specifically tell you what kind of information the AI should look for. And it's, of course, structured and combined to basically answer a certain purpose, like teaching AI algorithms certain things. While unstructured data is huge, requires more storage, and it's really just data that lives online without much issues. So data is indeed a core of the large language models and novel AI models. Now we know that they can take all kinds of different data, structured and unstructured as well. Structured definitely work better. So what we basically do with them is we train a foundational model to do a specific task. That task can be writing, transcriptions, recommendations. It can be even creating videos and images, as you know, but it can also help you sell your products. And this is basically where we introduce you to Smartsupp Mira AI. And Smartsupp Mira AI is a AI shopping assistant that's home built in Brno, Czech Republic, that we built it to help businesses sell more, answer queries, answer questions, and so on. That basically helps you deliver more value to your clients with AI, even while you're asleep. Smartsupp Mira AI was really built with a simple vision and mission to make sure that businesses can answer all the questions 24/7, that you can engage customers at the right moment, to answer frequently asked questions, and recommend products that your customers can buy. The easiest use case that Mira AI can cover is simply a customer coming to your website and they say, hey, do you have this on sale? Or, hey, do you have this product I can buy to my girlfriend? And the Mira AI can recommend the products based on how you feed it and how it learns. And how it feeds it, how it learns is definitely not only limited by what it can do. It can engage, convert, answer, recommend, and hand over to different agents or different bots if need be. But it's also limited how you feed the data in. Filling the data in Mira AI is extremely powerful because it's what data you put into it is actually how good it will work. And beyond just the raw data, we allow you in Smartsupp to actually tone the behavior of Mira AI, with our own tools for this. Basically, we can allow you to build a AI shopping assistant that perfectly represents your brand, has your tone of voice, but also knows your product. And we built Mira AI based on foundational models, but there's some also other technology. But it basically works like this. A user asks a question on our chat widget on Smartsupp. Then we process with Mira AI. Mira AI checks the data, sends the LLM, and then LLM processes it and responds for it. I know this sounds a bit more complicated, but this is the rough picture of how it works. Of course, it's lots more technological, but for the intents and purposes of this webinar, there's a key component here, and this is original and new content. Without this, our AI shopping assistant and any kind of AI agent that needs to retrieve some data cannot work. Because the data that you share with the AI actually goes into knowledge of the AI, is this vector database. And then using large language models, we can process this and help a user. So when a user visits an e-shop that has Mira AI shopping assistant, then when they type, hey, do you have this product on sale? The AI will go into the knowledge base and into data that we actually use to process it, and then answer the questions properly. And it always takes a couple of seconds, of course. In Mira AI, in Smartsupp, we allow our users to train our AI with three distinct sources. One is web scrape, then we have textual content and XML product feed. Web scrape and text content are based on the website and on the user's wishes. Product feed is, of course, based on the product feed. All of these data sources are important for Mira AI shopping assistant, and of course for AI, simply because the more data you give, the more data it will actually can process and learn more about the product and what they need to sell. And this is basically structuring data knowledge. So web scrape, ultimately, our system goes to your website, downloads all the HTML, everything you have. Then you can use text content that you can define what you want to specifically focus. If there's some information that's missing from the website, and XML product feed is definitely all the knowledge of the products that you have on your website. And this feed goes directly into a huge part of teaching Mira AI how to behave and how they can what it can learn. And at the moment, we do allow XML product feeds that are based on Heureka feed and Google Merchant Center data feed. Ultimately, we will going to expand these formats. But what we are looking for is a way how to have structured data to feed our AI shopping assistant so it can provide relevant information about your product, descriptions, availability, and so on and so on. And how do we do this? Well, we take the entire product feed and we kind of separate it or expand it and use these categories and tags to learn AI what it needs to learn. So there are some tags that we don't consider at the moment, like checkout link template, image link, item group, and so on. We allow you to use availability tags, but we definitely use item, entry, product, title, description, product type, and all the most important product feed tags, so the AI can learn everything about your products. And ultimately, this is the core point of my short presentation here, is that indeed we need this kind of data to feed the AI. This data, structured data, can be in forms of product feed, which is structured on its own. Then it can be textual content, then it can be web scrapes, and even custom queries that we have. But ultimately, the core function and purpose of this data is to teach the AI. Without data, the AI cannot know certain things about your products and product feeds that you have available. And definitely, it's known, and we see from our clients' use cases that you cannot have bad data and bad content and expect good results. You need a well-structured data, cleaned up data, and very well elaborate data to make sure actually that AI can learn and they can actually provide the best answers it can. Ultimately, we can say shit in, shit out. That's the easiest way how we say it. But there is a reason why you should invest more into caring on what is on your website and what is in your product feed, simply because all these data points are being collected by AI agents throughout the web. but more specifically, if you are using an AI shopping assistant such as Smartsupp Mira AI, you need to have a really structured data of quality so that it can actually give answers that your clients should expect. It will only learn the best from the data you give it. Don't assume anything. And if I can make a definite advice, start working on it, start building on it, to start improving your product feeds and data online. That being said, you can try Mira AI at www.smartsupp.com. It's a super easy to use AI shopping assistant. Ultimately, just create a free account. Try to teach your AI shopping assistant what it needs to learn, and basically in the process, we will also tell you whether your data is kind of satisfactory or not. And you will see by the results of the shopping assistant, which also can point you in different directions. And that's it for me. I hope you learned something. For me, again, I will just repeat that, shit in, shit out. You need quality data to survive in AI first world, because AI agents, AI shopping assistants learn from your data. The better data you have, more structured, it will be better for you and for your business. And I guess, Radim, you can take over from now.
Perfect. Thanks, Nicola. Thank you for your presentation. And so let me switch to mine. Before I start, there's a question if we'll provide a recording. Yes. As we mentioned, the webinar is recorded, and we'll provide the recording. Expect an email after the webinar, probably tomorrow, with a link to the recording. And if you have any questions now or during my part, I just repeat that you are free to open Slido, which will open after my part. The code for the Slido room is feed AI, feed like product feed. So double E, feed AI is the room code. Okay, so starting sharing, and let's start. So from Nicola, we heard that AI chatbots and AI agents, shopping assistants, they need good quality data. There are different sources of product feed. There's definitely a major source for structured data. But as Nicola mentioned, shit in, shit out, structured product feed is structured, that's fine. But if it's not optimized, let's say, you will make a hard time for the chatbot, for the AI agent to process the data and give quality answers that actually sell. So most product feeds are optimized for like different channels. As you mentioned, Mira AI supports Google product feed, Google Shopping, which is definitely a very common feed. Every merchant probably has a Google feed or basically feed optimized for Google. But there are many channels and many formats for your feeds, and every one is different, and that's the same for AI. Basically, you can use a Google feed, and it will probably work somehow. But if you optimize it, it's definitely going to improve the results and make a real difference. Again, repeating what Nicola said, shit in, shit out. Basically, when you provide just a general feed, like a Google feed, what you can get is that the result can be like high latency between the question and the response, low accuracy, so basically not relevant response from the chatbot, or recommending products that are not what the client is asking for or looking for, or maybe he needs to repeat the prompt multiple times or ask different way, which makes it makes bad user experience and can lower the conversion rate. So the first step to an optimized feed for AI is definitely removing the noise. As Nicola said, there are elements that are required or there are need for the AI agent needs. This depends basically on the tool you will be using or you want to use. Usually they are pretty similar, like in terms of what they require, and then they will differ in elements that they can use as an option. The required elements definitely will be something like titles, descriptions, categories, and prices. These are all elements you want to focus on in your feed, and but the main task is to remove whatever is not relevant for the AI agent. And then the second step is, once you have this done, is to fine-tune the data that actually the AI is using, so the titles, descriptions, etc. That's the second task. If we look at this example, so for a product like a T-shirt, you can have a title that is too short. It's not really relevant even for a human, but also for the AI. It's pretty similar. So you want to have like a really deep and multi-value title with all the relevant information for the AI to understand that this is the product that the client is actually looking for. The same thing is with the description. Description can have a lot of stuff that includes HTML tags. It can include like marketing promotions, etc. Stuff that you don't really want to have in the description for an AI agent to understand it correctly, or to go through it fast enough. And for the categories, you want to have like the good categorization that is category of your actual online store, which makes it easy for the agent to navigate through the structure of your product and find the right product for the client is looking for. So if you have just T-shirts, basically he will not know if the client is what he's looking for, if he should find the product like for men, for women, etc. So it's really nice to have a deep and corresponding categorization between the online store and in the feed. So, but how do you actually like achieve and how do you do this optimization? One of the possibilities is to use Mergado, which is a no-code feed management tool, specifically focused on e-commerce. You can use rule-based optimizations, rule-based tasks to structure and manage your data, your product feeds. You can like optimize one feed for multiple channels, like Google, Meta, and AI tools. And you can automate this basically. So once you set it up, it will work for you automatically. Now let's look at actually how this can be achieved. So we mentioned that the first step is removing the noise. So here we have an example of standard Google feed, which is like pretty like well structured. There's a lot of information that is optimized for Google, that Google is using when he's recommending the products in Google search. But as we mentioned, that a lot of these elements, actually most of these elements, are not something that AI is using. And the more you send to AI, the more you will have a hard time understanding the right thing to focus on. So what you actually need to focus. So the first step is to get rid of the noise, exclude the irrelevant elements. And this is pretty easy. It's actually like a matter of seconds. In a few minutes, you have like removed all the irrelevant elements with Mergado. And basically, this is the result. So excluding anything you don't need and keep only the relevant information. Once you have this done, and this is basically the major task, then you can move to fine-tuning the product data. As we mentioned, optimizing titles, optimizing descriptions, optimizing categories, prices, etc., based on how basically the AI agent can read it simply as a human would read it, and provide all the relevant information for the response to be as relevant as possible. So if you like have a description that basically just mentions the parameters, it would be better to also have like maybe use cases of where and when the product can be used, because that's what the client will be asking. So all this information you can provide for each product individually in the product feed. But of course, this part is much more, let's say, time-consuming for the optimization when compared to excluding the irrelevant elements, which is done in minutes. This will be more time-consuming and much more work to get to good result. But it really depends on how good your data actually is at the start. It can be really good already, and just excluding the elements can be enough. Or if the data, if the values of the elements are not good enough, then there will be hard work to do. And then at the end, you ideally have an AI-ready product feed with only the relevant information and in good structure for the AI agent. Now let's move to actually like a real use case when we helped client optimize a product feed for Mira AI, actually for Smartsupp. The client was a home decor online store, and they basically were using a standard Google feed, which they had already in Mergado, so they actually used it for Mira AI. But the results were kind of like, okay, it worked, but definitely there were like room for improvement. So what we focused on, there were like 11 elements for AI. As we mentioned, the Google elements are not always relevant for AI agent. Titles were not so optimized, and descriptions as well. And when we finished, basically we excluded the elements which were not relevant and basically fine-tuned some of the data. But since for this client, the data was already in kind of pretty good shape, the most of the job was to like exclude the elements and test it what the result would be. And actually, like the result appeared immediately, and the biggest impact was in the latency of the responses. It dropped significantly because the agent did not have to use so much information to come up with a response, and that was the biggest impact. But also the relevancy of the recommendations of the products, and also the ability to actually use the relevant information in the feed improved in terms of like using the relevant information for the search. So overall, very low effort for these clients to improve a feed they already had, and major improvement in performance. So that will be my biggest message, and just to repeat key takeaways from my part. Strip the noise, make sure you provide only relevant information. Definitely a standard feed as it is can work, but I will probably not be great, and there is a very little effort to have a great improvement in results. Focused on the fields that AI actually needs, and when you optimize titles and descriptions, think of it as you're using it for humans, not for robot. So include real life use cases where the product is used, because that's what the clients will be asking in the shopping assistant. This can be pretty hard, but if you use tool like Mergado, it's actually pretty easy. And if you only focus on excluding the irrelevant elements, it's a matter of minutes, and you have an optimized feed. So don't be afraid, and go ahead and test and start right away. And that will be end of my part. Thank you for attention, and let's move to the Q&A. Give me please a second to switch my sharing. Okay. And please, hopefully you see my screen. If you can just confirm maybe in the chat that you see the Slido, and we can move to the first question. Can the AI use any other resources or sources than the product feed? Maybe Nicola, this is for you. Can you answer this question?
Yeah, of course. So generally, of course, it can. Definitely, as I showed in my presentation, recently there's been, with these large language models, a huge shift that it can use unstructured data. But again, structured data is way better because it simplifies the tasks and makes the data more digestible for AI itself. In Smartsupp use case, yes, we do use web scrapes, textual content, and soon we will use also documents and historical conversations. So yes, there should be, and I would advise, simply because there's no need to be dependent on one source of data for AI, use more, try to use more, but of course, don't forget the quality. The quality also matters.
Perfect, thanks. Second question, what's the biggest mistake you see in product feeds used for AI? So this is probably something I can answer. Definitely, as I already mentioned, is the noise. So providing irrelevant data to AI can decrease the relevancy, can extend latency between question and response in the chat. So this is like very often what I see is like using one feed for all. So it really takes little effort to optimize it if you focus on like the relevant elements. Then you can make extra efforts to optimize the values that you actually send to AI. This will be more work, will take more time, but also can really improve the result if you make the effort. Yeah. Can one feed work for both Google and AI tools, or should I separate them? Probably just answered the question. So as I mentioned, using standard feed for Google, it can work, but I recommend definitely separating and using like a duplicate feed for Google that you use, but make the effort to optimize it to exclude irrelevant elements, and probably the result will be much better. Okay, feel free to pop any question. Still time, and I think there were some questions in the chat, so we can in the meantime we can turn to the chat questions. I believe Nicola maybe answered some of them, but let me just check if there are any.
Yeah, I think I answered all of them. If something else pops up, please write, please.
Okay. Perfect. If there are any more questions, thank you for attention. Thank you, Nicola, for joining me in this webinar. Thank you for all the questions that you had. And as I mentioned, the recording will be shared with you, with everyone. So expect an email with a link. If you have any questions after that, feel free to reply to any of the emails you get. If you have a question to Nicola, I will definitely be able to share it with him. So no problem. And that's it for today. Thanks again. Have a nice day and see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.